Now you might be wondering, Scipio, I thought this was Cartridge of the Week. Where's the cartridge at? Well, this isn't just a casing. This is indeed your whole cartridge. What's up, guys? Scipio Africanus here, and welcome back to another Cartridge of the Week episode. This week featuring the 7.62 by 38R, or 7.62 Nagant, as it's also sometimes called. Now, before we get into this cartridge's history, use, specs, and all that good stuff, we will first take a look at the headstand, which, as you can see, kind of. It's not really wanting to pick up. But on the top reads 38, which is for Tula Arms plant number 38, where this cartridge was produced, and the bottom reads 78 for its year of manufacture, which of course is 1978. Now the 7.62 Nagant is certainly quite the weird-looking cartridge, and honestly, while I think there was some other obscure rounds that did do this, from memory, I'm pretty sure this is the only round, except for shotgun slugs, where it's built in this configuration where you have the bullets seated below the casing. Again, I think there was some weird prototype ammo, but at least when it comes to mainstay ammunition, this is most certainly the only cartridge like this. And there was good reason for why this cartridge looks the way it does, and it lies in the main gun chambered for it, the 1895 Nagant revolver. You see, on all revolvers, you have a bit of an open space between the cylinder and the forcing cone, which allows for a little gas to be lost in this area, which of course decreases your velocity. The Nagant revolver solves this gas loss by pushing the cylinder forward after it's been rotated, and you will notice that on the cartridge, there's a bit of a tapered brass extended past the bullet, which when loaded in the gun sticks out a little bit past the cylinder. Now, the brass will sit inside the forcing cone, and when the gun is fired, it will expand outward and seal the chamber, saving around 75 feet per second in velocity loss, which this of course means that the revolver is suppressible. Now, I always see that with Nagant revolvers that you can put a suppressor on it, but do note, at least from what I've seen, that was exceedingly rare. The whole gas seal system wasn't even made to, make it accommodate suppressor. It was for that velocity loss. But that is a cool little side note with the Nagant revolver system, is that it is the only revolver, to my knowledge, that you can actually equip a suppressor on. Now, this cartridge itself was created in 1895 for use in the 1895 pattern Nagant revolver, and despite only ever being chambered for one gun, it would have quite the hefty service life. Its first conflict would of course be the Russo-Japanese War. Now, this war would devastate Russia economically and cause for the pistol to stay in service by the time of World War I. Because, well, given the importance of a military sidearm versus plenty of other things to put research into, it would mean that though the Nagant into 7.62 chambering was fairly obsolete by World War I, it would continue to serve Russia as its main sidearm. Now, interestingly enough, I've mentioned already that this cartridge only had one gun chambered for it, and that's not technically 100% true, as during the Soviet Union's submachine gun trials in the 20s, designs would be submitted in the 7.62 by 38R chambering, one of which being the Tokarev model of 1927. Now, it's also in this time period that we start to finally see the beginning of the cartridge's end with the introduction of the 7.62 by 25 in 1930. However, it would not spell imminent doom for the 38R, and it would continue to see service serving alongside the 7.62 by 25 throughout World War II, though as mentioned solely for the Nagant revolver pistols, as those previously mentioned submachine gun prototypes never really took off. By the end of World War II, however, its usage in the military would sharply decline with the introduction of the Makarov in 1951, pretty much removing the Nagant revolver and its 7.62 by 38R chambering from Russian military service. From there, it would mostly be relegated to Soviet police and security use, where even into the late 90s, police in very rural parts of Russia, as well as certain security groups like for say the rail line security, would find themselves issued with the pistol. Now, aside from military and law enforcement, many pistols would also be used as competition handguns, with many being decked out as such with different grips, different sights, and I would assume a different trigger. Which I will add, at least speaking on the cartridge, the 7.62 Nagant is a very light shooting round, almost as if it was made for competition. I know when I take my Nagant revolver out to the range, again, despite the very heavy trigger pull, the smooth shooting of the 7.62 by 38R, I don't know, it just kind of feels like a target pistol load to me. Anyways, all that being said, what exactly are these specs on the 7.62 by 38R? Well, on average, you're looking at around a 97 to 108 grain, .295 diameter bullet, flying at around 1,000 to 1,070 feet per second. Now, do know that the common commercial ammo for this cartridge tends to be on the weaker side, with the military surplus loadings giving you a little extra power. Also, do note that we've been looking at a Russian police/civilian surplus cartridge, which has, of course, the cone-like taper, and on commercial ammo, it tends to feature this kind of weird crimp over the bullet, which I'll add kind of sucks given its tendency to cause split casings. Meaning if you buy a batch of fresh commercial ammo, yeah, it's boxer primed, but you aren't going to be able to reuse all 50 of them because, again, the case tends to crack, which is pretty much the fault of that weird crimp they use. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for this week's Cartridge Week episode featuring the 7.62 by 38R. I hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.